This is the Bible story poster for lesson number 1 of the unit Covenant Keepers. Lesson number 1 is called Noah, and the subtitle of the lesson is Going Against the Flow. This is from Genesis chapter 6, verse 5 through chapter 9, verse 19. This is a long passage. It's a very familiar story, and our take on it is not really so much about the flood, but because the unit is about covenant keepers, it's about God and the covenant he made with Noah, and Noah keeping that covenant with God, and God keeping his with Noah. And so the Bible story poster is actually not of the flood. The Bible story poster is after the flood. And I'll show you a couple of things about that in just a moment. In order for Noah to be a covenant keeper, here's a concept in the lesson. He had to be somebody who was going against the flow. And that's a terminology the kids get, that they understand that. I don't have it here, but there's an example in an object lesson. You know, one fish going this way and a whole school going that way. And that's just going against the flow. And the kids understand that. Noah, in order to be a covenant keeper with God in the issue in the time then, he had to go against the flow. It was him against the whole world. And he was faithful to his covenant to God, and God was to him. And so a couple of things that need to be stressed about Noah is and again, they've heard this story about the flood, and you can touch on that. Certainly don't leave it out, but really that's not the point. So don't take a lot of time on the flood, because the point is that Noah was a man of God who lived a life that was pleasing to God. But the people at the time, and the scripture says, were only thinking about doing evil and violent things all the time. And God was actually sorry that he created them. And so God told him he was going to destroy all the people in the earth, and he told him to go build an ark. The details of the dimensions of the ark are in the lesson. 450 feet long, 75 foot wide, 45 feet deep, 3 decks, and it had a big door and a window at the top. And so God said to Noah that he was going to make a covenant with him, and God was going to protect him and his family. And so after the ark was finished, they went in, God shut the door, they go out. It rained 40 days, 40 nights. The flood was so great, it covered all of the land and the earth, even as high as the mountains, and lasted 150 days long. And all of the living things on the earth and the dry land, including the people, they died. So when the waters finally went down, and that's where we pick up on our Bible story. This is where we chose to show the moment. When the water finally went down, the ark came to rest on Mount Ararat. And so there's the ark, and it's on top of that mountain. And then what the scripture says is that God had been faithful to his covenant, and he kept them all safe. And so God showed a rainbow. And so there's the rainbow up above. So God showed himself faithful. This is the after, and this is the effect of the covenant that God made with Noah, that God kept. And then actually Noah did he did his part as well. And so you've got the different animals that are out there. There's green grass. You can see, what's really funny, get them real close, you can see a line of animals that are coming down off of the ark. And that's pretty fun. We don't know exactly how that looked or what, but it probably was something similar to this. Now, there's another part on here that is important to see, and that is that afterwards, Noah made a sacrifice, and he is worshiping the Lord and really thanking God for keeping his covenant. And so there's Noah up on a hill, and there's the fire that's burning, the smoke that's going up. And so what this shows is the ark resting safely. This is the after of the flood. All the animals are safe. Noah is there, and he's giving glory and thanks to God for keeping his covenant. He went against the flow, and God showed himself faithful. And so that was the first covenant, or the first lesson in the story of, or the unit, the covenant keepers, and that was about Noah going against the flow.